Hey everybody, this is Corp Cosplay, and I'm going to show you how I made my Ghost Rider gauntlets. Start things off, this is a pattern I found online of different size gauntlets all in one. You can download it. I don't remember exactly where the link is. I'll try and put it in the description. When you're building something like this, make sure to use a reference, not just your arm, but actually like the jacket or something like that it's going to go over top of, so your sizing's correct. I'm just going to take this pattern and I'm just going to lay it on the EVA foam, trace it out, and make two copies. Now we're just placing some dots on the pattern itself because this is where the spikes are going to be. These new spikes that I made are 3D printed, so just wanted to line them up correctly so both sides match. Remember, this is a curved surface, so take that in consideration when doing your marks. I'm using the inside pattern as a guide and sort of aiming to see where it should fit. I did 3 rows of 3 spikes. Now I'm just getting a thumbtack and making a hole in the pattern because that will allow us to make dots on the foam itself. You're going to lay the pattern over top your piece of foam, lay it down, missed one, and put some dots on there so you know exactly where they're going to be. Then you're going to get some screws that you're going to be screwing your spikes onto. The spikes that I made are 3D printed. That is what they look like. I heated up a screw and screwed it into the back. You can check out my video on my channel of how I made the spikes specifically and how to heat them up properly. Screw those spikes in and screw those spikes to the gauntlets themselves so you can make sure you have the right placement, because now is the time, if there is any problems with the layout, you can modify them, because after this you're going to be putting the material on the fake pleather, and once you screw into that it might look a little weird. So now that you have that, you're going to lay your pattern down onto the material that you're using. I got this fake pleather from Fabricland for a really dirt cheap price. It looks like fake leather. I'm using a box cutter. I know all the seamsters out there and seamstresses are getting really mad that I'm using a box cutter, but hey, it's all I have. I'm not really that into sewing yet, so that's what I had. Now I'm using contact cement to adhere the fabric material to the EVA foam, making a line around the edge. If you've never used contact cement, you can sew it in. Sewing machines can usually handle the 4mm foam that I'm using on top of the fabric, but I'm a foam smither, so my first thought is contact cement. If you're going to use contact cement, make sure the window is open, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area, because this stuff does have fumes. You're going to wait for it to dry, and as soon as you touch it, it will adhere and it will bond very well. You're going to leave a little bit of material on the outside because you're going to be folding that material over top on the back end, and you're going to wrap it around. So same technique, I'm going to be doing some contact cement on either end, on the inside of the foam and on the inside of the fabric. Fold it over, and I know there are special ways to cut this so it doesn't overlap that much in the corners, but I'm new to this, so I just improv this as best I can and used a little bit of extra contact cement on either side just to make sure everything is glued in properly. Here we have me gluing on the top part. Yeah, I use a lot of extra glue on this one. It's just, I'm not good at sewing yet, but there is a sewing part coming up that I am going to actually have to sew the Velcro onto it. So with the next step, you're going to do thick I think it's 1 inch Velcro strips. You're going to do one on one side of the gauntlet, one on the other. You're going to overhang them a bit so it will give you some spot to grab a hold of. I'll show you in 1 second as I put my sewing machine away. So you got to sew it on one side, sewn on the other, so you can attach them properly like that. Gives you a little bit of extra room so the gauntlet sits properly. And we're just going to test fit it, make sure everything lines up properly. I use just 2 stitches on either side to make sure it's nice and secure. That material looks so good on that jacket, it blends perfectly. And now you're just going to put the screws back in, and you're going to screw them into the spikes, and once they are all in there, you will have a completed Ghost Rider gauntlet. You could probably use this for other types of gauntlets that you might be building for your other cosplay, but specifically this was used for Ghost Rider. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and if you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will be doing some more tutorials and some walkthroughs of how I made my cosplay over the next few weeks, few months. Take care, folks. We'll see you soon.